Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm founder of the Marriage Foundation, and hopefully you've been following us. You're a subscriber, but I love this particular topic. This is how to show unconditional love to your spouse. I love this topic because it will help so many of you, because we don't believe in unconditional love. No one believes it. No one believes that it's true. And yet, it is true. Now, we think in terms of unconditional love for our children. It's not. It's close, but it's not. We're compelled. We don't even know the person before they're born. And then what happens is they're born and our hearts open up. But there's also this biological compulsion. So it's not quite unconditional love. God loves us unconditionally, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about you met your soulmate, you fell in love, but you don't realize that you've known this person before. That's why they're your soulmate. And what's really cool here is that they're the only person you've ever agreed to, because we have free will, love, and there's no compulsion. They're not your siblings. They're not your parents. They're not holding a gun to your head. There's no biological compulsion. There's no material compulsion. This was free will. You chose to love this person. Now, when you choose to love someone, they're worthy of your love. Now, this is an idea of free will activating you to choose to be with them for the rest of your life. And now, and this is one of the tenets at the Marriage Foundation, you will learn to love them unconditionally. Learn. We have the capability, because we are souls. You met your soulmate, and the soul is nothing but pure love, pure joy. But what gets in the way? Why are you asking how to show unconditional love? Because your mind is telling you that if you don't show unconditional love to them, there's going to be a slip. See, the mind operates on fear. But unconditional love is not about fear. It's about from the heart, with no restrictions and no thought. You don't have to say, well, if I do it this way, then I'm showing them unconditional love. But if I do it that way, then I'm holding back. No, that's intellectual. So how do you do it? How do you get there? It's very interesting, actually. You get there by learning how to master your mind. It's the mind that gets in the way. You have all the facilities, but the mind wants to adjust it to fit this circumstance or that, whatever. But the heart doesn't care. The heart doesn't need guidance. It is love. So when you push the debris out of your mind, you, the soul, start taking over who you are. Your personality changes. Your perceptions change. Your demeanor changes. Everything changes. You become love itself in your sacred space of marriage. This is something that's very important to remember. You see, we get confused. We go, okay, I'm supposed to love everybody. It says so. It's a scriptural thing. For Gandhi, sure. For Jesus, oh yeah. For Moses, oh yeah. But he got mad, but still he loved. But for us poor mortals, God gave us a training ground. It's called marriage. And I call it the sacred space of marriage, because love is sacred. Love is the most spiritual thing there is. And learning to love unconditionally means learning to master your mind. What does that mean? That means that the thoughts that you have should be thoughts that you choose to have. The feelings that you have should be feelings that only you choose to allow. The behaviors, only what you determine you should do. Not what you want to do, but what you should do. And it requires training the mind. We don't learn this anywhere, and it's essential. It is essential. We have to recognize, I am a soul, I have a body, I have a mind, I'm in charge of both of those, and I will take responsibility for how my mind behaves, how it thinks, what it thinks. Everyone thinks, well, I have these thoughts. I must be a bad person. No, thoughts are just coming and going. It's the thoughts that you operate with that determines your character. If you have a thought of, burning down their house, it's meaningless. Doesn't mean a thing. It's upsetting you, but you're not burning down anyone's house. Until you operate, you're clean. You don't get the karma. However, you do get the misery. So what you do is you go, mind, are you crazy right now? Stop this. And you replace that thought with something that is deeply loving about your spouse, towards God, towards the world, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you is fine. And that is what you put into your mind. And you might have to do it 1 billion trillion times. Keep replacing these thoughts, because the mind is impacted by the biological urgency of the body's drive to survive. The body only cares about self-preservation. The body's not interested in you, and you're not going to stop your cells from demanding preservation. And you don't have to. But when it gets to your mind, that's where you step in. And you replace those thoughts, you replace those feelings with feelings of devotion. And you cultivate those feelings of devotion by coming up with more thoughts, more feelings around that notion. The notion of devotion. Okay, it rhymes and it's great. And that's where you go. And don't fake it. Now, it's better to fake it than to let the old junk out, but instead go deep and make your mind behave. People don't realize this. This is one of the areas where TMF is so different. We don't go along with our minds at TMF. Our counselors don't just go along with our feelings. We don't care how does that make you feel. We care about you make your mind feel the way you want it to feel. And now we're doing a training course because we want more TMF counselors. It's going to be ready soon. And maybe you're interested in that. And our TMF counselors are like TMF Improve Your Marriage counselors. We don't want to hear the stuff. We don't need the backstories. We're going to show you how to do it. Show you how to become the greatest lover your spouse has ever experienced, because you're all heart, unconditional love. You're able to. It takes time. But in this life, just the effort to go there will make you evolve like crazy, because love produces joy. And what we really want is to be happy, isn't it? Isn't that what we want? Of course. We want to live in joy. We want to live in love. And you can do it. Great question. Again, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I'm so happy you found us. I'm so happy you're a subscriber if you are. I'm so happy you're telling the world about what we're doing because it's so important. Thank you for spending time. God bless you and take care.